Good morning, dear students. Today in this class, I will be taking up the next topic of your book First Flight, class 10th book First Flight. The next topic in our contents is the poem How to Tell Wild Animals. How to Tell Wild Animals is a poem written by Carolyn Wells. Before I move on to the poem, I would like to tell you something about the poet Carolyn Wells. Carolyn Wells is a very famous writer as well as poet. She's an American writer. Now, Carolyn Wells has written this poem in a light humor. It's a humorous poem. Carolyn Wells was born and brought up in the United States. She also expired there. She's such a rich writer that she has written almost 170 books altogether. Being famous for all varieties of writings, we have got the chance to read this poem, How to Tell Wild Animals, from her. Now, I have told you this is a humorous poem, not meant really for a significant theme or meaning. Still, the central idea of the poem is the poet is trying to tell us how to identify. How to tell wild animals means not to tell something to the wild animals, but how to tell which wild animal this one is, or how to identify a particular type of wild animal. Now, how the poet brings in humor in this poem is she is suggesting us very dangerous and impractical ways which are not practically possible to be conducted, such experiments to identify the animals. Now, since those impractical and dangerous ideas are suggested by the poet in her poem, we get a humor and the touch of impracticality in the stanzas or in the tricks or in the experiments that she's trying to tell us to identify various animals. Now, this humor is what we are going to enjoy through the line by line reading of this poem. So I've already told you the central idea is the humor of the poem, in which she's describing the way to identify the animals and the dangerous ways, in fact, that she's suggesting. As I begin this poem from your NCERT textbook, I'll tell you it's on page number 43. In the introduction of the poem we are given, this humorous poem suggests some dangerous ways to identify or tell under double quotes. Here tell means identify wild animals. Read it aloud and keep to a strong and regular rhythm. So this poem is in 6 stanzas. Each stanza consists of 6 lines each. Now, each stanza out of these 6 is telling us the way to identify one particular wild animal. Let's enjoy the poem. Moving on to the first stanza of the poem. Sorry. If ever you should go by chance to jungles in the east, and if there should you advance a large and tawny beast, if he roars at you as you are dying, you will know it's the Asian lion. Now see here, the first stanza, the poet is trying to tell us how to identify an Asian lion. And she is telling us some ways which are impractical. Even if you identify in the told particular manner, you are not going to be alive to tell it back that this is how I identified. Line by line, if I explain the meaning, first line says, if ever you should go by any chance to the jungles in the east. Now, east is our part of the world, like our land, the Asian part of the world, which is in the east of the world. So, if you go to the jungles in the east, and if in those jungles you happen to advance, or you to come across a large and tawny beast, a large and ferocious looking dangerous beast, if you happen to come across, and if that beast roars at you as if you are dying, and if he roars at you with such a huge thunder as if you are dying just by the sound of it, then you will know that it is the Asian lion. So basically, see the humor here, she's trying to tell you to come face to face to the Asian lion and then recognize, okay, he's about to pounce on me to kill me and eat me, so it's the Asian lion, right? That's the humor. Now, the one particular thing that I would like to mention here is this dying in the last second line is DYIN apostrophe. G is missing from there. Now this is the poetic license that the poet has used. She is not spelling it properly, but it is misspelled. G is missing just to make it rhyme with line, dine line. This is purposely done by the poet. This is her poetic license. Sometimes they do that. And apostrophe is naturally put there to suggest that something has been missing. Okay, moving on to the second stanza. Or if sometime when roaming round, a noble wild beast greets you with black stripes on a yellow ground. Just notice if he eats you. When you have to notice if he eats you. This simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. Right, very good. See the great trick she is giving you to identify. If you are roaming around further, then a noble wild beast, a royal looking wild beast is coming to greet you, is coming to see you, meet you, and it will have black stripes on a yellow base with black stripes. We know it's a tiger. And she's saying, the poet is saying that, and you just notice it, means it is not very clear in its approach towards the prey. It hides its body, and very quietly and secretively the tiger approaches its prey. So you will notice, you will see this tiger just at the moment when it is coming to eat you. So this simple rule, that I saw the animal suddenly when it is pouncing on me, this simple rule may help you learn that it is the Bengal tiger to discern. It's the Royal Bengal tiger that you have to clarify. So we have identified the Asian lion in the first paragraph, in the first stanza, and the Bengal tiger in the second stanza. Moving on to the third stanza. If strolling forth, and if you are again moving and roaming and strolling ahead, a beast you view, whose hide with spots is peppered, as soon as he has leapt on you, you will know it is the leopard. 'Twill do no good to roar with pain, he will only leap and leap again. So this stanza also, a lot of poetic license and misspelling of words is there. I'll tell you, and you will notice that in the text ahead of you. If you're strolling forth, if you're moving ahead, and you view a beast, again a large animal, whose hide, like whose body is given spots, like pepper spots, as if the pepper powder has been sprinkled. So with those spots, if you see is his asset to hide, then as soon as that beast will leap upon you. Now here leapt should be L-E-A-P-T in the third line of the third stanza, but A is missing, again L-E-P-T is given. So leapt on you. As soon as this beast has already leapt upon you, you will know it is the leopard. 'Twill do no good. Fifth line. It will is written as apostrophe T-W-I-L-L. So it is a short for it will do no good to roar with pain. So if that leopard is leaping upon you, is eating you, is tearing you apart, even if you are crying or roaring with pain, it will do you no good. Why? He will only leap and leap again, because the leopard will not have any mercy on you. It will again and again pounce on you. Leap and leap. It's for leap and leap upon you. L-E-P is written in place of L-E-A-P. So the third animal has been identified, again in a very dangerous and impractical manner, the leopard. Moving on to the next stanza, here we will identify another wild animal. It is the fourth stanza of the poem on next page, page 44. If when you are walking Round your yard, you meet a creature there who hugs you very, very hard. Be sure it is a bear. If you have any doubts, I guess he will give you just one more caress. So, not a very dangerous one, it's a bear. The poet is saying, if you are walking around in your yard, means this animal will come near to the human surroundings. You don't have to go forth in the jungle, it will be in the vicinity of the human beings itself. In your own yard when you're walking and you meet a creature there, and that creature hugs you very, very hard, has a very hard hug upon you, then be sure it's a bear. If you have any doubts, like if you're still not sure that who is this hugging me hard, then the poet says, I guess he will give you just one more caress. So the bear will give you another hug and then you can be sure that it's a bear. Now that's also not very easy and practical. A wild, large beast animal coming and hugging you. You are going to be afraid. You are really going to be scared up to your wits. So this was the practical or impractical so-called trick that she gives to identify the bear. Moving on to the fifth stanza. She is giving you illogical confusion between two animals and then sorting it out for you herself. Though to distinguish beasts of prey, a novice might nonplus. The crocodile you always may. Tell from the hyena thus, hyenas come with merry smiles, but if they weep, they are crocodiles. So the poet here is expressing that if you have doubt in these two beasts of prey, one is hyena and one is crocodile, then how to identify between these? A novice might nonplus. Novice means somebody who is new to the job, a new person who is not very experienced with this job. Might nonplus means it might be confused. So if you're new to the wild animals and you don't know anything about these, then only you can be confused between a hyena and a crocodile. No? Otherwise, we are very much aware of the difference, the vast difference that these both animals have. So the poet says, if you have to distinguish between the beasts of prey and new people might get confused or puzzled, then the crocodile you always may tell from hyena thus. Then I am telling you, this is the way you can always tell the difference between a hyena and a crocodile. What is the way she's telling in the last two lines of the stanza? Hyenas come with merry smiles. So if they're smiling happily when they're coming to eat you or to attack you, they are hyenas. And if they are weeping while attacking you, then they are crocodile. We all know the famous crocodile tears, right? So, which are not actually tears, right? Which is the watery eyes it naturally has. So, this is the way she's telling to distinguish between a crocodile and a hyena. Moving on to the last stanza of the poem, the sixth stanza. The true chameleon is small, a lizard sort of thing. He hasn't any ears at all and not a single wing. If there is nothing on the tree, 'tis the chameleon that you see. So this she's telling about the chameleon. She's saying the actual real chameleon is a very small animal. It's something like a lizard, and this animal does not have any ears or any wings, not a single wing. And if there is nothing on the tree, if you see the tree does not have any animal, then tis, T-I-S, apostrophe T-I-S, it's for it is. The chameleon that you see on the tree. Why is the poet saying when there is nothing on the tree, it's the chameleon? It is because actually this chameleon is that animal which has ability to camouflage itself, to mix the color of its skin with the color of its surrounding. That's known as camouflaging. So if you are not seeing, then you are sure, you can be sure that it's green. It has turned its color to green and it has mixed up in the tree leaves. So this is the poem where she is trying to make it clear to us that how can you identify the beasts, wild animals, which are certainly impractical ways. It's not possible to go face to face to a lion, to Bengal tiger, and then identify, oh, this is that animal I was looking for. So I finished the poem here. For the question answers, we will be following the same process as we are doing for the rest of the topics of a book on our WhatsApp groups. Thank you.